Okay, to start the session, can I kindly request everyone to say sadhu, please?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Panchai bhikkhave dhammehi samanagato bhikkhu attahitaya cha patipanno hoti parahitaya cha. Katamehi panchahi ida bhikkhave bhikkhu attana cha sila sampanno hoti parancha sila sampadaya. Samadhipeti attana cha samadhi sampanno hoti parancha samadhi sampadaya samadhipeti. Attanacha panya sampanno hoti parancha panya sampadaya samadhipeti. Attanacha vimutti sampanno hoti parancha vimutti sampadaya samadhipeti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, today is 19th of August 2025. Another mindfulness session, another listening supportive factor session in our weekly mindfulness program. So you should be by now remember this particular verse, this particular sutta. The sutta is called Attahitaya Parahitaya Sutta, which means it's a discourse on welfare of the self and of others. So if someone wants to have his own welfare, the Blessed One is showing 5 things, 5 factors. And similarly, once someone gets those 5 factors, he should be able to help others with the same factors. So we have discussed, completed 3 factors already. Now, at the moment, we are discussing the 4th factor. So the first one, he says, you will have to accomplish yourself in virtuous behavior. And when you accomplish yourself, then you encourage others to become accomplished as well in virtuous behavior. And then the second one is you accomplish yourself in concentration and then encourage others to become accomplished in concentration. And then oneself will be accomplished in wisdom and encourageth others to become accomplished in wisdom as well. And the topic we are discussing is accomplishing liberation and how you encourage others to accomplish in liberation. So these are the welfare factors that the Blessed One is suggesting. But when you basically look at the society, there are a lot of other things that other people are suggesting for the welfare. And what we basically hear is providing food, sufficient food, nutritious food, and then providing shelter, providing health care, providing education, providing infrastructure, providing ways and means to achieve things digitally using AI. Those are the things that we consider and the society is encouraging us to accomplish in. So the Blessed One is completely from a different scenario, from a different world, like he's completely giving something else. Virtue, concentration, wisdom, and now the liberation. So we have discussed how you become yourself virtuous, that is to restrain your faculties, basically your physical and verbal faculties. And once you restrain your physical and verbal faculties, then you will have very unruly, uncontrollable mind faculty. So then, in order to have some supervision over that, some management of that, the Blessed One goes to the next level, which is the concentration. So concentration, what we say here is the concentration that is as taught by the Blessed One. It is not the concentration per se that existed before Buddha. So when you have that concentration, you will have not only the verbal and physical and verbal restraint, you will have mental restraint as well. So when you have this mental restraint, you will have the main three doors controlled, monitored all the time. And what we are using to do that is basically the mindfulness. It is not just mindfulness, but by keeping the mindfulness to the fore, you will be able to achieve that concentration. So not only concentration, you will be able to achieve the physical and verbal restraint, and then continuous mindfulness will bring mental restraint as well. So when you mature in mental restraint, then you have an opportunity for an ardent practitioner, for a continuing practitioner, to get open yourself into the wisdom. The wisdom is seeing things as they are. When I say seeing things as they are, in the world we usually take things for granted, and we consider that everything in the world is permanent, and everything is under my control, and everything is for pleasure seeking, or everything is giving us pleasure. Whereas the Blessed One is saying the other way, completely opposite. He says everything is impermanent, and everything is not under your control, and everything is giving you suffering. But when people hear this, you may have a lot of thoughts going in your head, but the practitioner who is having a concentrated mind will see for himself that things are getting impermanent. Just a simple example, when you observe your breath, and when you continuously observe, you see the nature of the breath is changing. Your breath initially may be gross, and then becomes subtler, and then becomes very, very subtle, and then it goes to the subtlest, and then it may go beyond that very subtlety as well. You may come to a stage where you don't feel your breath at all. So this is a simple example of non-permanence, or impermanent rather, and then non-self nature. And if I have a control over my breath, I should be able to have it at whatever pace I want, whatever subtlety I want. I can't do that. Even if it goes to a situation where you will not be able to perceive the breath at all, even that is not permanent. After some time, it will come up again and it become gross as well. So therefore, there is nothing permanent. Buddha is showing that it is not permanent, taking your own very living, That is what we call noble quest. In ignoble quests, you don't take yourself for the experiment. You take somebody else for the experiment. But whereas the Buddha is concerned, he has taken himself as for the experiment, and he is encouraging and he has advised his followers as well to do that. And there are people doing it even after 2,600 years. That's after 26 centuries. Still, people are practicing it. Still, the results are the same. No change in the results. So it's such a scientific thing. What Blessed One says is, or what we know in our science world is, it should be able to be proven anywhere for anybody. So for 26 centuries, it has not changed. And the fact that it is impermanent, anybody can come and check. But I know a lot of people don't want to check that because they think it is permanent, and God will come and take care of that. So we have got nothing to worry. So, but we are different type of species, and we check that. When we check that, we get, this is just one example, we get so many examples of seeing this impermanent nature and the nature of non-self, and then things which are impermanent, things over which we don't have control. If we try to hold on, definitely you will get suffering and misery. So these are the things that you observe and that you accept when you become mature in your concentration. So when it comes to that maturity, what you gradually learn and gain is your wisdom, and your way of thinking will change. Your way of looking at yourself, looking at the society will change. Your behavior will change. And that does not mean that you will straight away start running into a forest or running into a cave. But you know the limits of things that should be done. You know, if you try to unnecessarily hit your head on something which you are not practically achievable, it is foolishness. So therefore, you do your level best to do things, but if it goes wrong, you don't suffer much, because you know, at the end of the day, I don't have control over things. So what Buddha says is, just because you don't have control over, you don't sleep at home. Not that you just become a vegetable, or things are impermanent, I'll just sleep the whole day, or sleep until such time you die. No, you don't do things something like that. What he says is, you will have to go through this. When you go through that, then only you will be able to become a wise person. Otherwise, one may think, even small children, they don't know whether it's permanent or impermanent. The newborn babies, they don't know suffering, and they don't know self or non-self. So they should be having the wisdom. They don't have any wisdom because they don't face these things. So what Buddha says is, you don't try to escape from those things. You head on, be with them, live with them. And when you do that, then you will have a lot of challenges from this non-self nature, impermanent nature. Then you try to keep your head high. Then you try to stay unwavering. Then that way, by going through the challenges in life, then you will gradually get used to this impermanent nature. So therefore, whether you have a blame or praise, or whether it is good or bad, whether it is gain or loss, whether it is subtle or gross, or whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, whether it is near or far, you will be simply having a mindset which is not fluctuating drastically. So that will happen only when you gradually get used to these three main natures of the nature. So it's the nature of law and it's the law of nature. So in these things, when you get used to that, there are no signposts anywhere. It is something that you will feel over time when you turn back and see about yourself. Sometimes others might say that you are different and you are not the person that you were 6 years ago or 6 months ago or 1 year ago. So then you know that some behavioral changes, some mental changes have happened within you. So that understanding is the what you call wisdom. And in the practice, there are certain experiences when you get those wise states, which we have discussed in the past. So in our talk, I think a couple of weeks ago, so you can have a listen to that. Now about liberation, we discussed in the last session that we will have to have mindfulness to the fore, and the entire discussion went on keeping the mindfulness to the fore. When you keep the mindfulness to the fore, and in order to see the wisdom nature, or for you to see things as impermanent, non-self, and suffering, the mindfulness has to continue very steadily, and perpetuation of mindfulness should be there. So when you have perpetuation of mindfulness, you will be getting the nature that you will consider as something that you have not experienced before. If I may give an example, when you observe your breath, and after the breath disappears, you may start feeling your body in a very subtle manner, and you may observe subtle vibrations in the body. You may observe that your body is like boiling water bottle or boiling water kettle, or you may see it as beehive, because in a beehive always bees are buzzing and they don't rest continuously. So it's like sort of a vibrating entity, you may see. So when you see that, and if you simply keep your mindfulness to the fore, and if you keep observing, so that is the entrance, that is the beginning of the start of the liberation. So when this happens, yesterday, or rather in the last session, we mentioned that this type of experience, or this type of state will arise, and you will continue to observe such states in 5 different scenarios. And there is a discourse called Vimuttayatana Sutta, which means faculties that may lead to your liberation, or the instances that may lead to your liberation. And the first one, the blessed one mentions is when either the blessed one or one of his disciples teaches Dhamma. When he teaches Dhamma, if someone is listening to that, he may be getting into very deep layers of the teaching, and then he may have this type of experiences. His liberating faculties may start opening up. So seeing your physicality or your so-called feelings in this manner, or maybe even your thoughts appearing and disappearing very fast, which we call arising and passing away. And if you see that, and this is one instance in which you will see that. And in another instance is when you teach, and you will be teaching to somebody, and then you may experience those things. And in the first instance, someone else is teaching, and in other words, Buddha or Bhikkhu is teaching. Then the listener will have such experiences. Or it can go the other way around as well. Someone who has not experienced such things, when he keeps teaching the Dhamma to somebody else, then that person will have similar experiences. And also when you recite, and there are, it's a tradition in Sri Lanka and mainly in the Buddhist world, you recite your suttas, your discourses, and especially there are very famous discourses like loving kindness discourse and Ratana Sutta, and then there are three discourses that we usually at home and even in temples recites. And when you have chanting ceremonies, and in chanting ceremonies from morning to from evening to night or the following morning, they keep reciting. So when you recite discourses, also you may have such experiences. And the other one is when you really ponders and examines and mentally inspects it. So this is where the meditation or the practice is coming into the picture. It says chetasa anuvitakketi, which means you drive your mind to a particular object. When you are observing your breath, you pay your complete attention to that, and you ponders the breath and examines the breath very closely, and then your mind will be inspecting it in a very deep manner. So when it inspects in a deep manner, you will get absorbed yourself into the breath, and as a result you may observing your body very closely. Then you may have experiences that you have not had before. So such experiences will also lead to so-called these liberating experiences. So in the other one is anyatarang samadhi nimittang subgahitang hoti sumanisi katang supadharitang supatividdang, which means you grasp well a certain object of concentration, attend to it well, and sustain it well, and penetrate it well. Here also what happens is, now in this instance, it is the first example what we did was we took example as the breath. So it is not only always a breath, and Buddha has given 40 objects which we can practice. So you can take any object and then get close to that and grasp that object well, and then attend to it well and sustain it. You continuously try to keep your attention to that. And then when sustain it, you get more and more close. You more and more attentive to that. Then again, the wisdom will arise and the liberation will start. And if I may give an example that Buddha usually, or the books usually gives, is you can take the air for that purpose. You can take light for that purpose. There are people who take a burning candle or burning oil lamp, just keep their attention steadfast on that, and without moving your attention to anywhere else. And then you try to sustain that, and then once you are able to sustain, you get more and more close to that, not physically, in your mind. And that way also you may be able to get more close to yourself, and then observe the object very closely. So in all these 5 instances, what happens is your qualities improve. And what it says is, these things are happening. The things that are happening to go to liberation when you do any of these 5 things is you become, it says, appamatassa, which means you attend to it well. You attend to it with intent, not just for the sake of doing it. You get as close as possible to the object. You don't become lethargic. And then it says atapino. Atapino means you have energy you do it driving other forces away. That is the meaning of atapi. And the word used in English is sustain it well. If I may give an example, when you try to bring your attention to when someone is teaching, or when you are teaching, or when you are observing your breath, or when you recite, you try to sustain, you try to keep your attention. But what happens is there will be so many disturbances coming. So when you get the disturbances, if you have a mentality that rather than saying a mentality, if you have a skill, if you have an ability that you don't get much bothered by them, you don't get much distracted by them, then that is a sustain or the ability that you will develop to keep other disturbances at bay. So that is why we call energizing yourself to have a stable mind. I am specifically and deliberately avoiding saying that you should hold on to the object, that you should hold on to your walking or sitting. I'm not saying that. When you try to pay your attention to breath, when you try to pay your attention to your walking, disturbances may be there. But although the disturbances are there, you are energized yourself not to get distracted by them. In other words, when you get those things, you simply be aware of them. So when you simply be aware of them, you are energizing yourself to keep things at bay. So, so that is a quality that you may develop when these things are happening, when any of the faculties at work. And the second thing, or rather the third thing, the third quality that you will develop in any of these 5 instances is pahitatassa, which means penetrate it well with wisdom. Penetrate it well with wisdom means you let it change, but you get as close as possible as it is changing. When your breath becomes subtler, you don't try to breathe hard. You just let the natural course takes place. You simply get as close as possible to this subtle breath so that your attention is sharp and your mindfulness becomes sharp, and you keep observing. So when you keep observing that subtle breath, you do that because you have now certain seeds of wisdom developing. The seed of wisdom that is developing is you are learning that things are changing. You are learning that non-self is happening. And when things are changing, when things are going out of your control, you don't try to create suffering to yourself. Usually that is what we do. When we have a small cut, injury in our fingers, we start jumping up and down. So now this scenario is much worse because you lose your own breath, but you don't jump up and down. There are people who jump up and down sometimes when they are not used to, but over time, after clearing their reports, they should be able to continuously observe. So that continuous observation, you don't know that it is generating the seed of wisdom in your heart. So this is the third quality that you will develop in any of these five faculties are at work. And the next thing is Attahita. Attahita means in just that way, in relation to Dhamma, he experiences inspirations in the meaning. So you get the meaning of Dhamma now. Now it is not you are listening to a talk, or I mean, there are instances even that here this has given here. I mean, it's not something that you have read from the book. It is not something that you are intellectualizing at this stage. Now you are gaining the experience yourself. The inspiration is the experience. So you have the direct contact with the meaning of Dhamma. That is what it says, Attahita. You experience the meaning through the practice. And then the next one is, next quality that you will develop is Dhammapati. Dhammapati means you experiences inspiration in Dhamma. The earlier one was experience your inspiration in the meaning, that is Attahita. And then Dhammapati means you go even beyond. You see real reality. So when the seed is being developed, then you have some glimpses that this is what Buddha has said, and this is what I have read in that book. This is what the monk said so many months ago, or this is what the monk said in the last week or in the last sermon. So I now get the real meaning through my experience. And then, say for example, again I'm taking the breathing practice. The Buddha says in observing the breath, it will come to a state where you start feeling the whole body. So the practitioner will observe such a state. You may experience the whole body. You may feel the body is so stiff, or you may feel the whole body is sweating, or you may feel the whole body is warm, or you may feel whole body is cold. You may feel the whole body is moving, or you may feel the whole body is being inflated, or you may feel the whole body is getting shrunk in. So some way you may start, or you may feel the whole body is vibrating. So you may have these things. So when you have these things, and then you will understand This is what the Blessed One says, Sabbakaya Patisangvedi. That is the word that is being used in that discourse. You experience your whole body. So when you experience the whole body, that is the quality that mentions here, Atta Patisangvedi. Now you know the meaning of that. Initially, when you are reading, you don't you just imagine the meaning. You just intellectualize the meaning. But in this case, when it happens to you, there is no intellectualization. It is a direct experience. And this Dhamma Patisangvedi means the whole scenario you start observing, and you see the nature of the things when you don't poke your fingers in. That seed of wisdom that is being developed is starting to grow, and that is Dhamma Patisangvedi. And when the Dhamma Patisangvedi becomes mature, and it goes to very deep layers of experiences, and then these are the qualities that you will generate when you have this one of these 5 liberating faculties. The 5 liberating faculties, if I may remind you, when the Buddha teaches with Buddha, or a monk teaches, or when you teach, or when you recite, or when you have when you penetrate your mind into something, or when you take an object of meditation. So those are the 5 faculties of liberation, vimuttayatana. And then you will develop these qualities I just mentioned, and with those qualities, then it starts to translate into something. It starts evolving. You start evolving when you have these qualities. The evolution starts with it says pamojjang jayati. Pamojjang jayati means the person starts enjoying the joy. The joy arises in him when these things are happening. When you see the meaning, when you see experience Dhamma, then you become very happy. Joy arises in you. So that's a change. So all this time, we have been doing plenty of things to become happy, but we have had it in a place that we never searched. Now you have somehow got an opportunity to get in touch with that. Now you start seeing the real joy that you have been looking for. That's the first thing that arises. Pamojjang jayati. And then the next translation or the evolution that happens is pamuditassa piti jayati, which means the joy matures, joy evolves further, and it comes to a climax. When it comes to a climax, it says pamuditassa means the joy. When he is joyful, rapture arises. Piti jayati, rapture arises. Now, rapture means the maturity of the joy. Initially, you were happy. Now, the mind is making you experience that happiness. Now, say for example, when you do an exam, and if you ace the exam, you become very happy. So when you become very happy, how you express that happiness is you jumping up and down, and you clap your hands, you laugh loud, right? So you don't cry when you have when you get through your exam so well. So like that, initially it's a joy, and then the mind is allowing you to experience that joy and using the physical phenomena. And there will have few physical phenomena when you have rapture, and one of those will be initial one may be, you feel ants crawling on your face, on your cheeks and chin and earlobes, etc. So it's a sign of rapture rising, and in that manner, rapture matures in 5 stages, and when it matures, it translates into something else, and that is called piti manassa kayo pasambati. So when your mind is so joyful, so rapturous, and your body becomes rapturous, your body becomes tranquil, your body becomes more and more calm down. So when one is having the rapturous mind, his body becomes tranquil. So when the mind is not, when the mind is happy, the body is gradually going away from the frictional physical behavior. So when the frictional physical behavior reduces, the body becomes at peace. So that's the tranquility that a person will enjoy. So that person will be maybe walking in a way that he doesn't even try to become a burden to the earth. When he talks, he may be so soft. When he acts, he may be so soft. Even if something goes, someone is doing something bad to him, some what you call unjustifiable thing, he will not disturb himself, because he knows if he gets disturbed, he is disturbing his own tranquility. The enemy become he himself. The other person is having a misery and he is expressing his misery, and you don't try to import it onto you, because you have achieved that level of tranquility. So it is achieved following the path of the Buddha. So it is not the tranquility that we earn going into just a forest, but while living in the society, we can have that tranquil state. So then it further evolves, and the Blessed One says, Passadda kayo sukang vedeti. So this tranquility in body feels pleasure. So when the body is so calm, when the body is so at peaceful, the you experience the body is enjoying its own body. The body is become it becomes a place that you would like to live in, since you are so at peace with yourself. So the Buddha says, Pasadda kayo sukang vedeti. So these are the changes that happen when your qualities change. And then it further evolves, and Buddha says, Sukino chittang samadhiyati. This pleasure in the body makes your mind become more and more penetrated and concentrated and undisturbed by things, by the society and whatever is happening around you. So one feeling pleasure, the mind becomes concentrated. So that's the direct translation. So in this manner, you evolve. So I'm sure most of you are here, those who are continuously practicing. Why? The one reason that you practice, that your practice is continuing, is because at varying degrees you are experiencing these things. If you are experiencing only the misery, you will not continue the practice. But you have, to some extent, to the extent that your practice has developed, you have seen these evolutions and you can relate to what I am saying. So when in this manner, when these 5 faculties of liberation at work, you develop your own quality with the Dhamma that you are getting in contact with, and then it makes a change within you, and not only just make a change within you, that change matures. Once it matures, the Blessed One says that concentrated mind, the mind that is not disturbed by the things around you, his unliberated mind gets liberated. Because now, earlier, what happened was, even before something happens around you, you take precautionary actions. You start reacting left, right, center, east, west, north, south, southeast, southwest, everywhere you take precautions. But now when you are concentrated and when you are not affected by the things around you, you are liberated yourself. Nobody is going to affect your vibration, and you are not sucking others' vibration. You have built up your own firewall. So therefore, you're unliberated, man. All these disturbances are grasped and grabbed by the mind. So when the mind is concentrated and unaffected by the things around you, your unliberated mind gets liberated. It's called avimuttang va chittang vimuchyati. The mind unliberated. Avimuttang means unliberated. Mind, chittang is the mind, and then vimuchyati is liberated. And then it further says, when that liberation happens, aparikkanang va asava parikkayang gachanti. So this asava. Asava is another separate topic that we have got to discuss for few hours. But anyway, I will just give a glimpse of it. Aparikkanang means undepreciated or undestroyed. Asava in English we call it tains. Tains means, say for example, when you play, especially when you play cricket, and you fall in the ground and you get your clothes dirty, and then irrespective of the number of times you wash it, you can't bring it back to the old state, the original state, because of the taint. There will have some scar, or not a scar, some patch on the clothes. So that is because the mud or whatever the grass marks will be there on the clothes. So like that, asava means, taints means, we have defiled minds. So when this process is happening, when your body become peaceful and when you become concentrated, lots and lots of hatred and craving and the delusions are being washed off, have been wiped out, have been removed, have been destroyed. But still, there will have some slight patches waiting, some patches around, some marks will be there. And such marks are called asava, and that is why we call, that is what we call here taints. And then what the Blessed One says is, when your mind is liberated, those taints are utterly destroyed. The undestroyed, if there are any undestroyed taints, and they are utterly destroyed. Now we know, when we watch TV, they are giving so many washing powders and washing liquids, showing that the clothes comes back to the original state. But actually, in fact, it is not happening. But so far as the Buddha's practice is concerned, he very clearly says, if you do it this way, when your vimuttayatana is at work, when this change is happening, you definitely utterly destroy these states. And that is the best washing liquid to get rid of our taints that we have in our mind. So that happens. And then the next thing that happens is, as an evolution of your own change, it says, Anupattangva anuttara yoga kemang anupapunati, which means he reaches the as yet unreached, unsurpassed security from bondage. In other words, this is talking about the final attainment of Nibbana, final attainment of complete getting rid of defilements. So this asava, taints will be completely destroyed only at the time of achieving arahantship. So before that, there are three other stages when this liberation happen in a very methodical manner. So I'm not going to take them at this stage. So what I wanted to show you was that there is a very clear mechanism that is at work when the liberation is happening. So if someone from the practice liberates himself, then he has accomplished such liberation. To the extent he accomplished his liberation, he will be able to help the others as well. There is nothing better for the welfare of the living beings on the earth. So may you all be able to reap that wonderful liberation in this very life itself. Blessings of the Triple Gem. And we will talk a bit more about it in the next session. Teruvan Saranai.
Sadhu.
Right. Okay. So, any questions? Any reports?
Teruvan Saranai Swami Master.
Yes, Putta.
Probably like a short report. Recently just been experiencing pulses of energy coming up my body.
Yeah.
So a few months ago, like I won't say a few months, but I think it's like a gradual escalation from like I think a few months ago I was like trying to breathe in, like grasping for breath, like oxygen, grasping for air kind of thing. But this is kind of this is like similar, but it's just like bursts of energy coming up throughout the practice, or maybe like throughout the day sometimes. But yeah,
when you say energy, is it again breath or?
No, it's not breath this time. It's like a.
It's energy flow.
Yeah, something like that. It feels like something's getting cleaned up, like in my lower stomach, because like I've been feeling like senses of relief.
Yeah.
Here and there. So.
So yeah, what is the direction of the flow?
It's coming up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes sometimes it's like bursts of laughter. Like it's kind of weird. Yeah. Kind of scares me sometimes. Like makes me think I'm going crazy or something. But it's just like bursts of laughter, and I don't even realize why.
Yeah.
But yeah, the practice is in the last couple of weeks, especially, everything's like felt a bit more like a. I haven't experienced like spikes as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
By spikes, I mean like the cravings and then like panic attacks and stresses and all that kind of stuff. But the last couple of weeks, I've just been like practice, go to work, hang out with friends or something. It's felt very like flat like last couple of weeks. That's how I could explain it.
No, that's good. That's good, but don't expect this to continue as well, because whenever I mean, you have been very ardent in the practice, very determined, and you have invested a lot in the practice. So this is why this unwavering determination and continuous practice is taking you in the right direction. The feeling of energy is usual, because when you continue continuous observation of your mass, which is the body, when you penetrate into it, that mass naturally becomes energy. And with unwanted energy, only we are maintaining our body. So you may have heard of the equation E is equal mc squared, which means energy becomes matter and matter becomes energy. So our body is a converted energy into matter or mass. And when you continuously penetrate and observe it, and you start feeling this energy, and the energy that you are feeling is the energy that you have been holding within you, to entertain, to perpetuate this body. So continuous observation means you gradually ask them to retire, ask them to resign and go, because you simply tell them, we don't want you anymore, because you have the ability to continuously observe without any reaction. So such negative energies that we have been using in the body now is getting flushed away. I mean, I'm just I'm using these words to say, but the experience that you are having is can be explained in that manner. So this is what we call the clinging, and the clinging nature is no longer there, and that is getting gradually depreciated. So, and it is good that you get a laughter over it. Some people, when this happens, they hold their head and start jumping up and down and start crying. And when you have a laughter at it, so which means your mindfulness is gradually getting polished as well, and you take it with the right mentality, with the right attitude, and you don't suspect what is happening. You are not afraid of what is happening, and you don't like to hold on to your body. You don't like to hold on to your life. And what you simply say is, who cares? I don't give a damn. And that brings the happiness, that brings the laughter. Yeah, just keep up the practice.
Yep.
Teruvan Saranai. Right. Any other questions, reports, please? Yeah. If there are no other questions, reports, we are able to wind up. So in order to wind up, Tanuka, do you have the paper with you, or should we go to Chatu once again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just have to scroll up on WhatsApp otherwise.
Yeah. So I will have to take it from my computer, and my computer just was able to be restored. Now it's functioning now. So we will go to Chatu's refuge. Chatu, can I kindly request you to transfer merits to whoever who have been supporting us to do this wonderful Dhamma work? Over to you.
May all devas share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all other beings share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. Beings share this merit which we have thus accumulated for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness and prosperity. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect the dispensation. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect the teaching. May all beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, having shared this merit, long protect me and others. If by deed, speech, or thought heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Master, O Victor, greatly wise. If by deed, speech, or thought heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive, O Dhamma, to be seen here and now, timeless. If by deed, speech, or thought heedlessly I have done any wrong, forgive my Sangha, practice well the incomparable. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. Let this merit accrue to our departed relatives, and may they be happy. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, I never follow the foolish, but only the wise up to the time I attain Nibbana. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise up to the time I attain Nibbana. By the grace of this merit that I have acquired, may I never follow the foolish, but only the wise up to the time I attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll meet next Tuesday. Blessings.
Dhammaraksana.
Saruvan Saranaya.